If tomorrow you woke up with a single attitude capable of instantly raising your attractiveness, filtering for the right women, and disarming the emotional game without memorized lines, would you dare to carry it with the same natural ease with which you breathe? Stay, because today I'm going to install that psychological attitude in your mind and in your body. I'm not going to tell you stories or other people's anecdotes. I'm going to speak directly to you, with precision, with strategy, and with the bluntness a man needs when he decides to stop improvising his value and starts living it. This attitude isn't confidence in the generic sense. It isn't vague security, and it isn't a social trick. It's an operating core that reorganizes your behavior, your language, your energy, and your decision-making. When you apply it, your presence changes the room, your conversation stops chasing validation, and your silence says more than the words of any amateur seducer. That attitude is called inner sufficiency with outcome independence. It's the convergence point between evolutionary psychology, ethical influence, and practical stoicism. Inner sufficiency, your stable sense that you are already enough before any interaction. Outcome independence, your ability to want a result without becoming its hostage. Together they form an invisible magnet. And yes, any woman picks up on it in seconds because the human brain is a tireless reader of cues of perceived status, self-control, and coherence. You're going to see why it works and how to install it, layer by layer. Not from empty theory, but from protocols you can take into a real interaction today. First, understand something essential. Feminine attraction is not triggered by your need to be liked. It's triggered by evidence that you possess direction, emotional self-control, and non-negotiable standards. Both mate selection research and influence principles agree on this. The indicators that carry the most weight aren't the ones you repeat. They're the ones you can't fake for long. Inner sufficiency is precisely that, unfalsifiable. When you try to fake it, it collapses in minutes. When you live it, it shows in your breathing, in your pauses, in how you say no, in your eyes when you listen, and in the way you put the phone down when it's time to put it down. I'm going to teach you to make it your default. The first layer is philosophical but practical. Internal control versus external control. Stoicism made it clear centuries ago. There are things that depend on you and things that don't. If your emotional state depends on a woman's reaction, you're handing over the keys to your frame. If your state depends on your actions aligned with your values, your frame becomes unshakable. Behavioral translation. Before starting any interaction, ask yourself a silent question. What part of this is under my control and what part isn't? Your tone of voice, your posture, your clarity in expressing a boundary, your willingness to step away calmly if something doesn't fit. That's yours. Her mood, her tests, her timing, her past, not yours. This simple distinction uproots the nervousness that ruins charisma. A man with outcome independence doesn't compete for attention. He selects for compatibility. The second layer is neurobehavioral. Intermittency makes you addicted to validation. You want immediate response, constant confirmation, guaranteed interest. But the dopaminergic system doesn't respond to too much certainty. It responds to anticipation that you yourself regulate with your pace and your focus. When you're sufficient on the inside, you don't chase micro-rewards on a screen. You choose attention investments that build healthy tension in the interaction. That means three things. You reply unhurriedly, but without games. You signal clear interest, but keep your schedule. You express desire, but never negotiate it at the cost of your standards. This coherence regulates your dopamine and hers, and that shared regulation feels like chemistry. Chemistry isn't magic. It's emotional coherence that lowers her defenses because your presence is stable. The third layer is social and strategic. A woman evaluates congruence, not speech. You can say you're not dying for her, but if your nonverbal language begs, if your availability is infinite, if you give up any boundary for a crumb of attention, your real attitude is scarcity. Inner sufficiency is proven in micro-decisions. You choose the place because you have preferences. You manage time because your life has rhythm. You listen first, reframe, and then share, because your ego isn't competing with the conversation. You don't try to buy her interest with flattery. You activate it with clarity and direction. Outcome independence lets you move forward when there's reciprocity and step away with elegance when there isn't. That sends an unequivocal message. I'm here by choice, not by need. Now I want you to see yourself in three mirrors: your body, your voice, and your mental frame. In your body, inner sufficiency is low, slow breathing, loose shoulders, neutral chin, a steady gaze that comes and goes naturally, gestures that appear to punctuate ideas, not to fill silence. In your voice, it's an unhurried tempo, emphasis on key words, silences that don't ask for permission. A man who masters silence masters the interaction because he shows he doesn't need to rush the connection. In your frame, it's the combination of selective curiosity and explicit standards. You ask questions that open her world, but you also make it clear you're looking for chemistry, value alignment, and respect. Warmth with a backbone. That's it. Let's bring all this down to the tactical ground. I'm going to give you protocols you can use without theatrics, because they're natural extensions of this attitude. Let's start with the beginning of any interaction. Your goal isn't to impress, it's to calibrate. Initial interaction, open eye contact, contained smile, direct, simple opener. Say something clear and non-defensive. Don't justify approaching. Inner sufficiency sounds like this. I liked your vibe. I'm your name. I'm staying a minute and heading back to my friends. This line does three things. It validates with restraint, sets a time boundary, and shows your life continues beyond that micro scene. If there's interest, you'll see it in her response and nonverbal. If there isn't, you don't stick around to negotiate. Outcome independence is protected by exiting on time. Now, handling the conversation. The rule is simple. You set the pace, not the content. Content can vary. The pace must be yours. Alternate open questions with micro-stories of real value, not bragging. Avoid the catalog of merits. Show discernment. A man with inner sufficiency doesn't list achievements. He transmits standards. For example, I do well when the conversation is honest and there's humor. If there's gratuitous drama, I disconnect quickly. That leaves a clear imprint. Taste for intelligent lightness, zero tolerance for low-energy games. And when tests appear, and they will, you don't justify or get upset. You return to the frame. If she says, I'm sure you say that to everyone, answer with a slight smile. No, not to everyone. I get bored easily if there's no spark. Brief, calm, no over-explaining. Over-explaining is selling yourself cheap. Now, texts. This is where most people betray their attitude. Inner sufficiency over text is economy, intention, and intermittent presence with respect. You don't disappear to manipulate. You choose not to be always available. You send messages that add, not that fill. A clean structure, purposeful initiation, a touch of situational humor, a concrete invitation with a defined time window. Don't stay with, we'll meet whenever you want. That's comfortable vagueness. Don't turn into a human calendar either. Make a proposal, and if it doesn't fit, offer one more option once. If there's no reciprocity, you don't keep pushing. Outcome independence. Clarity attracts. Insistence devalues. On the date, your attitude becomes emotional architecture. You're not seeking approval, you're designing an experience. Start with the place. Choose spaces that favor conversation and movement, not rooms that chain you to a table and the discomfort of justifying every second. Inner sufficiency means you don't ask the environment to do the work for you. You direct it. Sequence the date in 2 phases, brief with a natural exit, and then, if there's chemistry, a second spot with a different energy. Changing environments creates a sense of progress without pressure. In each transition, keep gentle leadership. Let's take 15 more minutes here and then walk a bit. It's a proposal, not a command, but it sounds like a decision. That structure reduces anxiety for both and opens the door to a more authentic connection. Boundaries. The word improvisers fear. A clear, warm boundary doesn't chill. It eroticizes because it reveals that your desire has criteria. If she crosses a line, speaking with contempt, playing with attention for sport, you don't lecture. You cut off the supply of attention politely. I'm not into that energy. If you reset, we continue. If not, all good. You'd be surprised how attractive a calm no is. It teaches that your validation isn't bought with provocation. These boundaries aren't punishments, they're emotional hygiene. And hygiene is more enticing than dramatic intensity. Nonverbal language, your silent ally. Visualize 3 simple physical anchors. 1. Abdominal breathing that lowers your frequency and gives you ownership of time. 2. The visual triangle, eyes, lips, eyes, when you want to mark tension without words. It works because it directs her attention to the possibility of a kiss without asking for it. 3. Dynamic proxemics. You move closer when she invests. You step back half a step when you feel you're saturating. This creates a subtle back and forth that feeds desire. The key is calibration. If she doesn't mirror, you don't push. If she mirrors, you advance 1 degree. Inner sufficiency means you don't confuse desire with urgency. Humor, a high-voltage tool many use to cover insecurity. Your humor shouldn't beg for laughs, it should sheath tension. Avoid defensive sarcasm and excessive self-deprecation. Prefer brief, observational, here-and-now humor that proves you're present. Don't tell jokes, highlight dynamics. I like how you challenge me with that serious face. It's obvious you enjoy it. You smile after saying it. If she laughs, shared energy. If she denies it with a smile, you've still won. You created a mirror of complicity. Your voice, your most underrated instrument. Drop 1 tone below your usual when you express interest or a boundary. Rise slightly when you're playful. Mark 1 or 2 second silences after an important idea. The brain associates pause with weight. Don't accelerate at the end of sentences. Let them land. Rushing betrays the need to be liked. Inner sufficiency sounds like controlled tempo. Outcome independence is heard when you don't trample words to fill gaps. Let's size the ethical pillar. This attitude is not a license to manipulate, it's a powerful filter. Many confuse intensity with connection. You're going to choose consistency. Relationship research shows that self-control, emotional stability, and reliability predict long-term satisfaction. Instant attraction opens the door. Calm authority and independence keep it open. This is mature seduction. It doesn't maximize numbers, it maximizes quality. Understand, enough women will desire you when you become scarce in need and abundant in presence. Not all, and you don't need all. Those who recognize your frame will respect you. Now I'm going to install the attitude with a 3-phase process you can repeat until it becomes automatic. Phase 1. Internal recalibration. In the morning, anchor your sufficiency with 2 operational declarations, not empty mantras, but rules of play. Today, I don't trade my inner respect for external attention, and I desire connection, but my state doesn't depend on it. Then visualize 2 micro-scenes in your day where you'll apply this. One in casual conversation, and another in an interaction with a woman you find attractive. What matters is feeling your breathing, your rhythm, your boundaries. Phase 2, interaction design. When the opportunity appears, enter with direct, unapologetic openness, set a time boundary, and calibrate from curiosity. If there's no opportunity, create one naturally. Ask about a real detail in the context, not her entire life story. The change isn't what you say, it's where you say it from. If it doesn't happen today, you don't sink. You're training yourself to see yourself as sufficient with or without external response. Take mental note of your anxiety signals, vocal acceleration, filler laughter, justifications, and correct them by slowing your tempo and holding eye contact 1 second longer. Phase 3, closing and evaluation. If the interaction flowed, set a clear action with a time window. If not, you close it, not chance. That was nice. I'm heading back to my friends. Enjoy the night. This keeps your narrative in your hands. At night, review. Where did you yield to need? Where were you solid? What boundary did you express? What silence did you hold? Improvement comes from turning awareness into correction. Let's apply the attitude to specific scenarios. If she replies slowly and with minimal phrases, don't fill the gap with insistence. Reply one more time with intent and humor. If it doesn't improve, let go. Outcome independence. If she subtly provokes you to see if you'll step out of your frame, don't confront or cave. Smile and escalate the play without attacking her. I see your mischievous side. I like it better when you use it to build, not to test. If she tries to put you into competition, don't enter. You compete with yourself, not with shadows. On a date, if you sense she's seeking extreme emotions, don't escalate to drama, escalate to depth. Ask questions that invite truth, not that force intimacy. Inner sufficiency shines when you prefer quality over spectacle. Let's talk standards, where the man is revealed. Define 3 non-negotiables. Respect in the interaction, coherence between words and actions, and willingness to build. If one breaks, you don't threaten, you act. Real attraction grows when the other person feels your spine without you using it to push. Don't confuse coldness with control. Coldness is armor, emotional control is selective availability. You're not a wall, you're a door with criteria. I want you to feel the following in your body as you listen. On the exhale, loosen your jaw, drop your shoulders, and feel the weight of your feet. This posture changes your social read immediately. Most try to seduce with tension. You're going to seduce with directed relaxation. The more relaxed you are inside, the more present you are outside. Presence is what makes her want to ask you questions, invest more, and feel seen. When you're starved for outcome, you don't see, you project. When you're sufficient, you observe, you calibrate, you choose. This attitude also shows in your relationship with time. A man with outcome independence protects his energy blocks. He doesn't donate them to the notification of the moment. If you're training, you train. If you're with friends, you're with friends. If you're with her, you're there without checking your phone every 3 minutes. This temporal integrity communicates value without saying it. And when she asks for more than you can or want to give, you don't justify. You mark a boundary and offer what you can give. I can't stay longer today. I'm up early tomorrow. If you're up for it, we can continue Thursday. It's honest, masculine, and clear. I want you to have a map of signals that confirm the attitude is installed. Signal 1, you find yourself saying no calmly. Signal 2, when you feel anxiety, you don't run to seek attention. You breathe and redirect. Signal 3, conversation flows better when you stop trying to be interesting and focus on being interested and selective. Signal 4, you care more about your actions than her momentary opinion. Signal 5, you notice she tests you less because your coherence removes incentives for games. These signals don't need applause. They feel like inner stillness. And if you feel it's hard to maintain, perfect, because the attitude isn't sustained by nothing. It's nourished by habits. Train your body 3 times a week. Muscle isn't just aesthetics. It's a discipline signal that lowers baseline anxiety. Sleep. The tired man is the most easily manipulated. Eat without extremes. Your biochemistry belongs to you. Read those who order your mind. Reading isn't a pose. It's architecture for thought. And surround yourself with productive challenges. A man with solid goals is a magnet because his attention isn't begging for validation, it's building. That focus creates the aura most people try to fake with borrowed lines. A common objection. If I'm outcome independent, don't I become cold and lose emotion? No, if you understand the distinction. Independence doesn't extinguish desire, it cleans it up. You can desire intensely and still refuse to betray yourself for that desire. That combination is the core of mature masculinity. The boy desires and overflows. The man desires and directs. That direction is deeply attractive because it's both safe and free. Security without freedom suffocates. Freedom without security scatters. You're going to offer both, emotional safety in your frame and freedom of choice. When a woman feels that, she relaxes and her best version appears. You didn't force it. You enabled it with your attitude. Let's sharpen the use of words at key moments. Statement of intent without pressure. I like you and I want to get to know you better. If it's not mutual, all good. Elegant verbal escalation. I love how you light up when I push back. It's attractive. Boundary with warmth. I don't play with contempt. If you change it, we continue. If not, we'll leave it here. Closing a date with leadership. I had a good time. I'll text you Thursday at 6 and we'll see. Clarity creates peace, and peace invites desire. Ambivalence breeds anxiety and drama. 2 things that might entertain, but never sustain. In the digital realm, define your response windows. You're not a chatbot, you're a man with a life. You choose specific moments to reply. When you reply, do it with intention. One of your messages should be valuable, not voluminous. Avoid double texting when there's no reciprocity. If she sends content that demands constant attention, don't reinforce that cycle. Respond to what deserves a response and let the air do its work. Air is part of the music. From today on, adopt a small ritual before any interaction that matters. 3 deep, low nasal breaths. Remember your 2 rules of the day. Visualize the 3 anchors: low breathing, steady gaze, unhurried tempo. Ask yourself, what part do I control? You'll enter the scene with sufficiency in your chest, not urgency in your throat. And when you feel the temptation to prove, choose to show. Proving is pushing, showing is being. Don't chase emotional spikes, design a curve. And when connection arises, don't squeeze it into one night. Leave mystery. Tension needs oxygen. There's another component of inner sufficiency, conscious selection. Not every interest suits you. Check for value compatibility, not just chemistry. Value kindness, zest for life, personal responsibility. Avoid chronic victimhood and conflict as entertainment. Your time is your most seductive asset when you don't give it away. Even rejection, used with elegance, is power. If there's no respect, decline. If there's manipulation, decline. If there's sustained lack of reciprocity, decline. Calm rejection is a message that positions you as a man with an inner kingdom. Now I'm going to compress an image into your mind that you'll carry with you. You walking into any space with relaxed chest, clear gaze, and the certainty that you don't need to convince anyone of your value. You move with direction, speak with listening, laugh without asking permission, set boundaries without harshness, and when you invite, you create an experience. You don't buy approval. That's the attitude that changes your social life at the root. You don't have to shout it, it shows. You don't have to explain it, it's felt. And when she feels it, she'll know she's in front of a man who chose to be the source of his state and not the effect of someone else's validation. That difference is everything. Anticipate moments of self-sabotage. There will be days when something bruises your ego. It's normal. The mind will want to run to the phone, to flattery, to overactivity for relief. That's where the men who claim to have sufficiency separate from those who do. Stay. Breathe. Feel the discomfort without acting from it. That muscle makes you unbreakable. Because you don't always win by moving. Sometimes you win by holding. And paradoxically, when you hold, your perceived value shoots up. You show you own yourself. There's no trait more seductive than that. If you asked me right now what the most powerful move you can make this week is to install this attitude, I'd say choose one interaction where you would have chased before and run it at the pace of your sufficiency. Enter, calibrate, lead gently, invite with clarity, let go without resentment if there's no reciprocity. That full cycle is worth more than a month of passive content consumption. The brain learns by experience, and when you feel the small victory of acting from your center, it will be imprinted. Repeat. Repetition creates identity, and your identity generates your aura. To close, I want you to carry this operational synthesis in your blood, not just your head. The psychological attitude that attracts any woman is not a costume. It's the inner order that turns your presence into a clear proposal. A man who belongs to himself, who desires without begging, who invites without pressuring, who leaves without resentment, who invests without losing himself, who laughs without becoming a clown, who listens without disappearing, who leads without crushing. Inner sufficiency with outcome independence. Make it your habit, and you'll notice something curious. The less you chase, the more you choose. The more you choose, the more attractive you become. And the more attractive you become, the more you guard your center. That virtuous circle is the real magic of conscious seduction. Start today. Don't wait to feel ready. Act like the man who already belongs to himself. When you do, the social world, and she, will reflect it back to you. And when you see it, don't be surprised. It was you all along.